We are joined now via Zoom from the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Department, Lauren Azoury. And Lauren, how you doing? Good to see you on Zoom.
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Well, good to have you with us. For people that are not familiar with your work on TV, on Civic Center TV, you are the naturalist at West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation, and you always have some really interesting story about what's going on in nature here in our Oakland County, West Bloomfield, Bloomfield Township area, and I've loved some of your stories. This is an old school reference, Tyler. I don't know if this makes any sense to you. I used to love when I was a kid. I'm sure it doesn't. You're too young. I used to love when I was a kid, and I would watch Johnny Carson late night. You know, the king of all the late night television shows. And Johnny Carson would have these naturalists on all the time with these animals that would like crawl all over him on TV, and that always cracked me up. And you know, I don't want you to bring any little critters into the studio right now, but that would be right up your alley, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I would someday I'll do that for you. No problem.
All right. When we
have plenty of critters at the nature room I could bring over. No problem.
I know you do. So tell people what you do and what you're here to talk about today.
Yeah. So I'm a park naturalist at West Bloomfield Parks, and my main job there is education. So I host a lot of programs teaching the public of all ages. So we do young children programs, we do senior programs, and everything in between. Some of those programs might include guided hikes on our trails. Some of them are school groups that come to visit to enhance their curriculum and what they're learning about at school. Our nature room is open to the public to come and look at native Michigan animals to learn about those as well. So my main job is education, but I also help the park staff with what we should be doing invasive species wise, removing certain plants and adding new plants to help our ecosystem. So I do a little bit of that as well.
So if we are out running around in the community, crawling around out in the woods with our kids, staying 6 feet or more away from everybody, maybe taking the dog for a walk. We got plenty of woods around here. We got great trails in West Bloomfield and all around Oakland County. Is there anything like what's going on? I mean, I know none of the animals in the woods, the deer, the little crawly critters around there, they're not affected by the coronavirus. But you know, is there something you would recommend we look for? And as we're getting close with nature, other than just going for a walk, things that we could look for and enjoy out as we are taking a walk about.
Yeah, so this is a tricky time of year because we're ending winter and starting spring. So people generally think of this time of year as dreary, but in truth, it really is when everything's coming back to life out there. So I went for a walk the other day and I heard wood frogs singing. So definitely put a listen out if you're near wetland areas for different frog calls. This is the time of year where the male frogs are calling and bringing their mates to the pond. So that's a fun thing to listen for.
Hey, be careful. Be careful. This is a family show now. We can't have any of that.
Well, it does happen in the spring. So.
No, that's okay.
But yes, birds are building their nest. So you can definitely see a lot of new bird activity, singing, as well as flitting around looking for nesting materials and establishing their territories for the spring. So there really is a lot happening, and new buds are starting to bloom. So skunk cabbage is one of the first things to bloom in this time of year. It actually makes friction and heats the ground up, so it melts the ice and snow around it, and it's one of the first things to pop up. And then after that, we start to see some new wildflowers. So there's definitely lots starting to happen out there right now.
Well, it is, and you know, I just go for a walk, and if I'm not careful, all that would be oblivious to me. Sure, it's starting to look better, and we hear the song of birds, and we start to see some things. But I appreciate you pointing out each of those individual things you pointed out, because that gives us something to talk to our kids about and look for as we're getting out with nature right now. Any tips? So like if you're a novice in nature and your kids have been doing what kids do, staying inside, playing video games, any ideas that you can give our viewers and listeners, things they might want to like entice their kids with, ideas that they can share with them. Hey, we're going to go see this. Hey, we're going to go do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Any tips for us?
Oh, definitely. So, you know, this is trying times, and screen time is probably increased in your home for survival or for e-learning. And it's even more important now than ever to get our kids outside. And it might not even be for a lesson necessarily. It might just be for like what you would call recess during school time, but it's super important. prior to e-learning and the schools being closed, screen time was an average of 6 hours a day without all the additional things that we're adding in during this time. So outside time is really important to our mental health, but you can use it as a learning opportunity too. And I always say, if you're nervous, to take your kids outside, keep it simple. You don't need to create a lesson to bring them outdoors. First of all, let your kids lead. They'll find things that you'll never know about, and then you can discover those things together. And then the other thing is, whatever your kids are passionate about in that time, or whatever their favorite thing is, like right now my son is really into Play-Doh and dot-to-dots, we bring those things outside. So we do a Play-Doh hike, and we take the Play-Doh on our little trail in our backyard, and we make impressions with it. We do his dot-to-dots, outside if we need that time outdoors. So whatever your children are into, you can do that outside. It's really as simple as that. I can give you tons of other fun, unique activity ideas, which I'm happy to share, but I just wanted to start with saying that, it's as simple as just doing what you like outside instead.
Yeah, it's good advice, Lauren Azoury. Thank you very much for joining us here today from West Bloomfield Parks. I know that most of the facilities are open. We don't want kids or families on playgrounds playing on playground equipment right now. We've clearly said don't do that. But a lot of the other things, the trails, a lot of the parks are open and available right now. And as long as you keep your distance from people, it's a perfectly acceptable and the kind of thing that we should be encouraging people to do right now.
Correct. Yeah, West Bloomfield Parks, our dog parks, our playgrounds, and our courts, our tennis courts, etc., are closed currently, but all the parks are open. We, of course, encourage you to follow all the CDC guidelines of staying 6 feet apart and not do social gatherings. But we do want to provide the parks for people that do not have space in their backyard or neighborhood to walk.
And Lauren, I'm sure that's not only true in West Bloomfield, but in all the communities around Oakland County. You would think that that the same kind of thing is going on in most of the communities, that, stay away from the playground equipment and the ball fields. Yeah, they said definitely don't get in the middle of a softball game right now. But taking your family, taking your pets out for a walk, what a great time to do that. And we're going to have some really nice weather over the next couple of days. And then, the thing that kind of blew my mind over the last several days was the realization that we are going to be in this game for a little bit longer than I think some of us thought. And, it looks like the schools are pretty much done for the year. And this is probably going to be a situation that takes us at least through April and likely a little bit longer. So, you can't just stay in your house for 4 months or 3 months. We'll all go crazy.
Right. Yeah. And I agree, definitely. And even just like a little walk is amazing, but there are some fun activities that you can do with your kids and some resources online. I know there's some awesome, right now, virtual museum tours and things like that, but that's just adding to our kids' screen time. So I want to help some parents with activity ideas for what to do where the kids aren't in front of a screen. You as an adult can check out the activity on the screen and then go do it outside.
All right, Lauren, well, I'm going to let you decide this. We didn't ask before we came on the air, but if you want to share your information with our team, or if people want to get a hold of you through Parks and Rec to get some more advice, tips, ideas. I know you guys are all working from home right now, and the Parks and Rec building is closed, but is there some appropriate way that people can access information?
Well, actually, our naturalist staff, myself and our other 2 naturalists, are working with our marketing manager, and we will be putting out some great ideas through our West Bloomfield Parks Facebook page.
All right.
So some of these activities, there'll be links of things to print and bring out with you, things like that. So one of them is a make your own bird feeder. So you can use old milk jugs, put a cut inside it and put it outdoors. I know we put up our bird feeders just a week ago, and my kid has been super entertained by just watching the birds and their activity, their colors. Some birds come to the bird feeder for one seed and then fly away. Some stay and carry a bunch in their beak at a time. So just making really good scientific observations by putting up a bird feeder. And then there are resources online. Wild Birds Unlimited has some great printables for that, so that you can use those to supplement with your learning, what you're teaching your kids. So I can show you a couple of those things right now. But there is activity pages that are available on Wild Birds Unlimited to make your own bird feeder. So instructions for a project for you to do with your child. And as well as observation sheets. So things that you might not notice, why they're colored the way they are, their special beak shapes of the things that are coming to your bird feeder. Another program partner is Bees in the D. We do some really awesome activities with Bees in the D. We have 2 of their hives on our property, Shulock property, and they have some really cool activities as well. So Bees in the D has a junior page where they provide activities for adults to teach their children or to learn together even. So they have the little printables and really awesome visuals and things for you to look for while you're outside. So if you can't get a hold of me, those are some good resources.
All right, yeah, I've heard about Bees in the D, really cool, and we're gonna have to go in a minute. But send me all these links, okay, and make sure that your marketing folks get it over here, or if you've got it on a page, just let us know. We'll put a link to your page, and we'll continue to promote it as people are looking for things to do. You wanted to add one more thing, Lauren? Sorry.
Oh, absolutely, no problem. So while we're talking about screen time, there's a really cool show on PBS called Wildcrats. And it teaches all about animals, and they transform into these animals. It's really fun. But we at West Bloomfield Parks, we host a Wildcrats camp as well. So it goes along with that theme of fun things that kids really love, but also nature related and things that you can take outside. So PBS Kids has a site that has resources for Wildcrats. So if your kid's really into that special nature show, then you can do activities outside to supplement that. So whatever your kid's into, you can take it outside. Do you have links to the PBS content on your site, or can people just go to the PBS pages and find that? Yeah, it's pbs.org/parents. Mm-hmm. pbs.org/parents. We'll get that on our website, too. Yeah, and I'll share those with you. Yep. Lauren, thank you so much for checking in today. We really appreciate it. You do a great job. People have no idea all the cool stuff that you bring us around the year. We appreciate it, and especially right now, it's got parents really got their hands full. You know, it's hard enough for me to understand and cope with what's going around, and I've been here for 61 years. You take someone that's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and they don't, it's hard to explain all this to them. So having some of these other activities, a good distraction, a good opportunity, and maybe we have a little more time because we're not working quite as much and doing other things and we're home, a good opportunity to spend more time educating our kids about what's around us in our own backyard. Thank you very much today. We really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, from Parks and Rec, West Bloomfield Parks and Rec, that is Lauren Azoury.